When did the Holocaust begin, and when did it end?
The start of the Holocaust is 1933 when Hitler was elected Chancellor of Germany. The Holocaust ended in 1945.
What was the body count by the end of the Holocaust?
The official death toll will never be known, but the widely accepted number is around 6 million deaths.
What was the percent of Jews killed in each country using the country's pre-war population?
The percentage by the countries are as followed. Belgium is 60%, the Baltic countries are 90%, Poland is 90%, Germany and Austria is 88%, Greece is 77%, and Norway is 50%.
What was the difference between the killing of the Jews and that of the other ethnic groups of the Nazis' targets?
The only difference was that the killing of the Jews was the main focus of the Nazis. Every Jew was to be killed. In contrast, other ethnic groups were not seen as much of a problem.
How did the everyday Germany view Hitler and the Nazis?
There was some opposition to the Nazis within Germany. Some priests openly protested Hitler and the Nazis, but they were persecuted as a result. However, most Germans were in support of the killing of the Jews.
What if any efforts were made to save the fleeing Jews from Germany's pre-war?
There were efforts made by a number of groups to save the Jews. These were limited in their success because they had little political power and not enough funding. Among these groups were Jewish Agency for Palestine, the American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee, HICEM, and etc. The US and the UK brought together the nations in 1938. This was to find a solution to the Jewish refugee problem. With the exception of the Dominican Republic, the countries denied to loosen their immigration regulations. This is what prevented large-scale immigration.
Did oppositions toward the Nazis arise within Germany?
Yes, throughout the Nazi reign, different groups opposed different actions and policies of the Nazis. However, there was no successful opposition toward the Nazis within Germany.
In what ways did the Jews fight back against the Nazis?
The Jews divided into three basic types of armed activities: ghetto revolts, resistance in concentration camps and death camps, and partisan warfare. The best known example of ghetto revolt was the Warsaw Ghetto Revolt. It started in April 19, 1943 and lasted about 5 weeks. They fought amongst terrible conditions at the concentration/death camps at the following sites: Treblinka during August 2nd, 1943, Babi Yar during September 29th, 1943, Sobibor during October 14th, 1943, Janowska during November 19th, 1943, and the well-known Auschwitz during October 7th, 1944. The Jewish partisan units, while small in number, were active in many sites. They didn't play a big part in the defeat of Germany, but they did hurt their pride by rescuing an undetermined amount of Jews from right under Germany's noses.
What was the Jurant?
The Judenrat was a group of known Jewish community leaders in each ghetto appointed by the Nazis. These leaders made sure that the Nazi rules were followed, even at the expense of their fellow Jews.
What was the main goal of the Nazis during World War II?
To make a master Aryan race that extended from Germany to Urals, and to exterminate all the Jewish people.
How did the Germans decide who was Jewish and who wasn't?
The Nazis decided that anyone on September 15, 1935 or thereafter with 3 Jewish grandparents, someone with 2 Jewish grandparents that belonged to the Jewish community, was married to a Jew or Jewess, or a child of a Jew was considered Jewish.
How did the Germans categorize people that were not classified as Jews but had Jewish blood?
They were categorized as Mischlinge, or hybrid. They were put into 2 groups. Those groups were those with 2 Jewish grandparents or those with 1 Jewish grandparent. Both were equally discriminated against.
Did Nazis plan to exterminate the Jews from the beginning?
No, while Hitler made reference to killing them, it was never his plan until the late winter or early spring of 1941. This was made in conjunction with the decision to invade the Soviet Union.
Why were the Jews singled out for extermination?
The Nazis viewed the world's history as a fight between all the different races. They viewed the Jews as a race that wanted to dominate the world. This was a threat to their Aryan brotherhood, so they believed the Jews should be exterminated as a way of keeping the German race safe.
Did the Allies and the people of America know about the events going on in Europe?
Prior to the final solution, everything was out in the open and publicized, but when World War II started, it was harder to get information. However, a year after the systematic killing of the Jews began, details started spilling out. The first report was smuggled out of Poland and into Europe by a Jewish organization in the spring of 1942. Sing.